Yo, what's going on, guys? Tom here, aka Mr. Easy Muscle, bringing you, I think this is my fourth video, and this one's going to be about how to get ripped and lean without actually doing cardio. Now, I myself started out, I was pretty chubby. Um, I was about 14 and a half stone, maybe about 18, 19% body fat. I was really quite fat. And so when I started out lifting, what I did was I went on a very high protein diet. Okay, and I cut out my carbs almost completely. So what that did was it really helped me thin out a lot. And I actually lost, I think it was 2 stone in about a month, maybe slightly more, maybe 6 weeks. But I lost 2 stone really quickly. And when you're eating a lot of protein and very few carbs, it really is a great way just to shred weight. It falls right off you. I mean, I can't stress it enough. You don't have to do cardio. But what I will say is that it does involve a lot of training in the gym, lifting. I'd never say that was something that you should avoid. Obviously, you should always be, weight training if you're looking to, build muscle and, look better. So that's what I did. So basically what you first need to do is you need to find out how many calories it takes for you to maintain your current weight. So I think for me it was about 2,700, 2,800. So what I did was I cut that by 400. Actually, I think it was 500, which is really it's quite extreme. 500 is a lot more extreme. Some people do maybe 200 to 300. So obviously, if you're smaller, like shorter, or you weigh less, it's going to take less calories for you to, you know, maintain your current weight. So that's the first thing you got to do. You got to establish that. Take off about 300, 400 calories from that, and try and stick to that every day. I mean, I know it's hard to. People think it's hard to count calories, but if you look at the packets of the things that you buy and the things that you cook, it's really not that hard. Things tend to stick in your brain, and then you kind of get an idea of how many calories things are made of. Like, I know the protein that I take. My 2 scoops of protein is 300 calories, and I know that. So I know that when I'm counting my calories, I can factor in, if I have a protein shake, instantly that's 300 calories. I mean, it's not an impressive skill. It's just something that you pick up along the way. Um, Another thing I'd suggest is taking whey during this, because if you're going to be eating like 2,000 calories worth of protein, or majority of it will be protein, then it's quite expensive. Like lean meats like chicken and turkey, you have to eat a lot to fill in your calories, because the things that are mainly calorie dense are sugar and fat. And if you're not having much sugar and fat, you need to eat a lot to get the amount of calories that you would normally. So yeah, a whey protein is a really good idea. Uh, it helps fill in some calories like pretty quickly. Like, as I say, 2 scoops of mine, 300 calories. So bang, there you go. You want to try and get a lean protein, so one that's like a very high percentage of protein, low percentage carbs. The one I take, or did take, at the time that I was doing that, was USN IGF-1. I'll put a picture up, and that was really good. I felt like it mixed really well. It tasted great. It actually tasted phenomenal. It was like a treat having it. Um, and it was just a generally good product to buy. USN are great. I said in my last video I like USN. I need a haircut as well. um, yeah, so that's really it. I mean, what you want to try and avoid is you want to try and avoid things like bread. Bread's quite one of those things that people overlook. They think, oh, it's only bread, it can't be bad for you. But, well, I mean, it's not exactly bad for you, but bread is full of carbs. That's generally what bread's made of. Bread, rice. Rice is another one that's basically just a carb. Also, fruit. Now, people tend to eat fruit and say, eat fruit, it's really healthy. Fruit is really healthy. I'm not going to say it's not, because that's just not true. But it is full of sugar. It is natural sugar, but it's still sugar. So my advice would be to stay clear of fruit and eat vegetables instead, like things like carrots, broccoli. I love broccoli. It's great. It just tastes like water. And water doesn't taste of anything, so, you can't go wrong with it. But yeah, you want to stay away from starchy vegetables like potatoes. Potatoes are good for bulking. They're great for bulking. They're definitely one of my top foods for bulking, but not so much for if obviously if you don't want carbs. But that will really help deplete the weight. I wouldn't suggest doing it for very long though, because I know that can be unhealthy. There's a lot of side effects of having a high protein diet. Obviously, like they won't. The side effects won't start after like a month or so. It would take a little bit longer for them to start, but it's definitely something that you wouldn't want to prolong. Another thing you need to stay clear of is fizzy drinks. Things with anything that has sugar in, basically. If it has sugar in, just don't eat or drink it. But that's about it. That helped me melt the weight away. Obviously, do regular, lifting workouts. But that's a really good way to burn fat, burn calories without actually doing any cardio. Because I don't know if you guys are like me, but I absolutely hate jumping on the treadmill. It's my least favorite thing, which is why I tend to avoid it. I should probably do a video on how much cardio I've actually done in the last year. It's not very much. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. You've been great. I've been Tom, and I'm out. Peace.